Hello! Today we're going to be talking about variables, and this is going to be a simplified version. We will do more videos later, but as of right now, I just want to get the concept to you. So, my advice, try to understand the concept, do not pay attention to every little detail that I say. Alright? Get the concept in your head. Variables, they are like this bucket. If you put something inside this bucket and tip it over, that thing will fall out of the bucket. But if your bucket is empty, nothing falls out, but it is a place to store something. And in programming, we like to label them. This one will be labeled X, our variable X. And inside of it, we're going to place the number 1. Alright? It means in our bucket, we have the number 1. If we were to tip it over, 1 would fall out. And in the world of programming, this is declaring a variable. With Python, it's just X equals 1. Something to remember, Python is dynamically typed. This means we only have to put X equals 1. We do not need to tell the bucket what type of information we're putting in the bucket. And we're going to want to prove it, okay? So we are going to access the value in the variable. To access the value, all you have to do is print it to your console. And in Python, we do it like this, print X. The console is going to then show you, boom, what was inside your bucket, your variable, and it will look like this. Remember, the console is just a little black part on the bottom that appears when you press run. Now, what if we want an empty variable? What if we want to say, hey, I have an X, but there's nothing in it? Well, this is how you would do it in Python, and Python uses none instead of null, like a lot of other languages, but you have an empty variable, all right? So now, we're going to access an empty variable. What will we get? Well, when you print X, you're going to receive exactly what you expect. Null, or in Python, we will get none. The idea is just telling you, hey, you have a variable here, but there's nothing inside of it. All right? Now, remember, Python is dynamically typed. So if we were to put stuff inside of X, which is not a number, this is a word, we do not have to tell it what kind of type it is. All we have to do is go X equals stuff, and you're done. So if we would like to then access the variable, print it to console, remember this command, this is for Python, what you will see is stuff, the thing that was inside of your placeholder, your bucket. This is your value. And congratulations, here's your stuff. Okay, very important to remember. Again, dynamically typed, X equals stuff. We do not need to tell it the type. But what if we want to print something that doesn't exist? And I don't mean an empty bucket, but I mean literally printing a variable that does not exist in our code. Do you think that we'll get none again? So let's start. Here's a Y, right? This is our Y bucket. It's our new variable. And again, we're going to put 1 inside of it, just to keep things the same, right? Y equals 1. We now declared the variable. But what if we still want to access X, even though it doesn't exist? What happens when we print X? You'd think you would get a none, right? But instead what happens is you get a, wait for it, an error. Because you have to imagine it like a real bucket. I cannot show you something that is inside of a bucket if the bucket doesn't exist. All right? Even if there's an empty bucket, there is still the bucket. But if I try to show you something that doesn't exist at all, that's an error in reality. And then you'll get an error in your code, and it will tell you. A lot of times errors are helpful. Make sure you read them because they do, in fact, tell you or give you a clue to what's wrong. And later we're going to talk about dynamic versus static. Python is dynamic, and this language that we see right now, this is C#, and it is static. As you can see, we got an error because we tried X equals 5. With a static language, it is required to say which type. And in this instance, we have an integer. C++ is the same exact thing. We have to tell the computer what type or we get an error. Statically typed language. I want you to also just pay attention to how each language is doing the same thing but looks very different. Right? This is the syntax. It is how it is written. It is the rules that you have to follow to write the certain commands and create certain outcomes. This is a very interesting language. This is JavaScript. JavaScript doesn't require you to use a type, but you should. You can see that this one is var. That might be complicated right now. We'll get into it later. This is another language, PHP. Again, you do not need to tell the computer what type it is. Now, I want to remind you, this is a simplified version, okay? There are more details surrounding why these things are the way they are, but all you need to remember is dynamic versus static, and remember that a variable is just a way to store a value. Goodbye.